Hi, welcome back. So, right now, I'm going to actually be discussing my thoughts and my responses to Stephen Graham Jones, The Only Good Indian. So, therefore, if you have not read this book yet, then go buy it. Go buy it right now. Go on, then. So, go get it. So, major spoilers coming up right now. But if you want to visit my book review, if you haven't read the book yet, I'll link my book review actually down below. So, clickety click on it, and alrighty then, so let's get started. Okay, so as you already know, The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones follows the story of four Blackfeet Native men. So Richard, Lewis, Cassidy, and Gabe. And Mr. Richard Ross Ribs unfortunately gets like slashy murder fied in the prologue, and it's such a sweet setup for this book. And that spike of fear in the first horror roller coaster ride was such a great starting line. And gosh, that those first two lines alone has such meaning already packed into all of it. And that line, or those first two lines, were like the ultimate starting gun, or I guess the intense jump ball kick starting this book. So yeah, that was awesome. I also had a major case of whiplash from the point of view shifts that was happening in this book, but I really enjoyed it. It kind of kept me on my toes. And because I liked it, because you delve into all of these characters' emotions, minds, and heads, and including dear head woman. And I did not expect that. So that was a very awesome surprise. So, man, those killer mommy instincts seriously echoed in some deep, dark place inside me. And yep, I have four calves or four kids, so I guess I could totally relate to that part. These characters, when they are having that internal dialogue with themselves, basically kind of like questioning what's going on. And the writing was so very, very good in that, because I commonly found myself talking like right back at them or talking with them and trying to figure out like what was going on. And I could also feel the how powerless they felt, and their panic and their psychological misery, especially with Harley the dog. Oh my gosh, his massacre like seriously rocked like a very deep part in my heart. And surprisingly, I myself began to feel a little bit insecure and fearful, because these guys weren't horrifically awful people. I mean, they could be any one of us, and they screwed up, unfortunately. They're young, and I assumed that, I mean, I'm making the assumption that we all have made mistakes in some way. And shoot, I thought, what like unforgiving destiny is lurking waiting for me in the shadows. So that was cool too. There's a part in this book, and I mean, seriously, when you experience something like that on a magnitude, and Lewis, he states in the book, it's not like in the books. Lewis says, when you see something that doesn't fit, like, and that part, it's like your brain is telling you to rationalize and kind of come up with an understanding of what is happening to you, but your fear is speaking something else totally entirely. And it's almost like it's authenticating the of what is really happening. So I don't know, it's something I felt when Lewis was trying to explain what he saw and what he was experiencing and what happened all those years before. So that was a really interesting piece, and it like creepily I totally identified and connected with that. I can also have a whole nother conversation on the guilt and the shame that takes place in these books, in this book with the characters, and the guilt in killing that young elk and her baby. And so he says his memory of that young elk, his guilt over her, that was the tether she pulled herself back with, wasn't it? That's why she was starting with him, not Gabe, not Cass, because they don't remember her. She's just one of 1,000 dead elk to them. It's all making sense now. Without Peta here to talk him down, it's all making perfect sense, actually. So that part, well, it, I feel that guilt itself can eat at you and open up doors, and if you let it, it can even consume you, and I guess in this case very much kill you. So well, to me, it almost opened, that guilt almost opened a gateway to their fear, and then they started questioning everyone, they even themselves, and the fear making nothing absolutely reasonable, and it was like constantly pumping adrenaline into their imagination and the possibilities, and them not being able to trust anyone or even rationalize anything anymore. So that was a really cool part that I enjoyed in this book, and it just seriously stressed me out. So that was awesome. The gore, oh my gosh, whoa. uh did it shut you up too? It did to me. Man, Lewis with that motorcycle wheel bit. Holy crap. And that was a serious fear that kind of freaked me out, because my hair is really long. I mean, check out how long that is. Like, this is the length of my hair is actually past my butt. So I, but I actually, I have to shamefully admit, people, I kind of mentally cheered and took a huge breath when he thought that he was kind of safe again. But no, instead, he just ended up further isolating himself with more death and chaos, and met his untimely end. And oh, Elkhead woman. Okay, I'm probably gonna be having nightmares about her for a time, and it's because I have this picture of her in my mind, and I really seriously thought about sketching it, but I would just end up going to bed with the house totally smelling like cedar and me taking out the trash less and less. But at night, I don't know, but wasn't she like ruthless and relentless and remorseless and a thirsty, wicked murderess? And it was freaking magnificent. The way she was able to take like strengths and flip them like freaking pancakes into weaknesses. That was like, dang. Her being in her head and her actions were like a crazy blood curdling amusement park. So she was seriously cool, and in my opinion, a villain that is humanized is the best villain. That was British. Yep, good job. Stephen Graham Jones it was cool. I gotta say, the last 40 pages in this book, I seriously crashed hard after reading those pages, and apparently into a res wash full of tears. Man, the basketball scene that between Dinora and Elkhead woman, woo, right? And the Thanksgiving Classic is like the perfect title for the chapter of that book. I don't know how many Thanksgiving classics that I've been to. I mean, gosh, my mom and her sisters, they all used to ball it up in their day, and I think like several of us learned how to walk in the gym. So I very much appreciated those and cheered on all the basketball metaphors that happened in this book. So that was pretty cool. And one thing I keep going back to is this basketball game, college basketball. What year? 2004, 2005. It was, I don't know, but it was an Elite Eight basketball game. I think it was U of A versus Illinois, and that game went into overtime with, I think, Illinois winning by one. But that game still haunts me. And I'm from Arizona, and even though I am a Arizona State Sun Devil, but I wanted U of A to win like so very bad. I think because at that time in college, we were all like protesting against the racist mascots. Yes, yes, people, 2005, we were even protesting then, and we weren't even the first people to protest in that movement. It's been happening for a long time. But anyway, it like totally took me back there, the hype and the stakes of that game. Not every day you get so like caught up emotionally in a basketball game like that. And shoot, it was awesome. Like it to see or to read about Dinora like balling up Elkhead women. So that was cool. And Dinora, she was such an inspiring character. I mean, for me, I had so many book tabs on Dinora, and this girl was just ready to bite, punch, claw, and fight for her life. And she was tough and smart, and her ability to adapt to all these really stressful situations was pretty brilliant. And just the heart, lots and lots and lots of heart. So when and then when I was reading her character and what might have been very well the last moments of her life in this book, she is so much more than that, right? I mean, she was loving and tender, courageous, compassionate, and ultimately, that's what ends up saving her. And she just puts her foot down and she just says, no more cycles, no more repetitions of violence. And it was such a strong message, especially with the work that I do. It really resonated within me. And I think every Native person wants to be Dinora, but I say that Native and Indigenous people already are Dinora. They just have to find it. They just have to find that spark. And part of that journey of finding that spark is healing from our traumas and facing the truths and the history of what had happened to us, and ending those cycles that hurt us and make us feel powerless and disconnected. It is something that I feel that all Native communities are striving for. And even though Stephen Graham Jones like beautifully gives us a small glimpse at that in this book, at the conclusion, it's amazing, and it totally filled my heart up. And I kept rereading those last pages over and over, and this book, I think, is really going to stay with me for a while. So, yep. Thank you very much, Stephen Graham Jones. This book is such a treasure. It's going to stay in my collection for the rest of my life. And I can't wait to get my hands and own an official or release copy. So thank you for that. So this is I guess it's the end of my discussion piece. I just wanted to point out some of the favorite parts in the book that I really enjoyed. And so I guess I'm going to end it here. So I just want to tell everybody, thank you for watching this video if you stayed this long. And again, hope you guys are all well. I hope you guys are safe, and just hope your families are doing good. And don't forget to wash your hands and wear a mask, all that really awesome stuff. So until next time, I shall see y'all soon. And yeah, so have a good one. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, and all the best wishes out to everyone. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Bye.